Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Real Talk with EJ. I am your host, Eno Jerry. We are back again with a slice dose of motivation, served with truth, with a sprinkle of pure vibes. How you guys doing? It's another Wednesday, another middle of the week. How are you guys doing? How's your week been? I know Wednesdays is like in between. Should I be tired or should I keep going? But relax. We're here again to fuel you, educate you, entertain you. Listening to these days, because I would like to know what your playlist is, because I've been vibing to some really good tunes lately, especially this new album that came out last year, 2 years ago, People by Jonathan McReynolds. I hope I said that right. God help me. So yeah, it's such a beautiful album. I've been playing that on repeats for the past 20 days, or at least since the beginning of the year. So let me know what you guys are listening to. I would love to hear about it. Okay, so today is gonna be rather an interesting conversation, a deeper conversation. But before we delve deep, let's go into our quotes for the day. And it goes like this: whatever action you choose to execute with your power, if it is not based or founded in love, then your execution will be extremely toxic for the people at the receiving end. So a lot of us if you're blessed with a position of authority, position of power, and we are so sometimes quick to want to execute the power that we have on the people that we are supposed to be ruling or in authority of. But if whatever you're doing, let it be founded in love. Let it be rooted in love. Because if it is not, you won't know when you slipped into toxic behavior. You won't know when you slipped from being a leader to being a tyrant. So whatever it is that you're doing, whatever position you're holding, please, the people that are looking up to you, the people that look at you as an inspiration, as a role model, ensure that your actions should be based on love. All right. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about entropy. A lot of you have never heard that word before. That's why we are here. And with me today, I have a very special guest with me today. The first time I heard him speak, if you see him on the road, I promise you will just walk by and you won't even think or notice, because he's so quiet, he's so calm. But the moment he opens his mouth, your jaw would drop. The first time I heard him speak, it was at church. He came and there was a program we were having in our church called Take Him. We brought him in as a guest speaker, and I was at the back because I had some to do like a performance. I heard him speak. I had to stop whatever I was doing just to listen. And you know, when you're listening to someone and your body is shaking, your body is vibrating, you're like, oh my God, like so much knowledge inside one person. So this is such an honor to have him here. My guest today is Mr. Sixtus Ulaka. I hope I got that right. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I hope I got that right.
Yes,
Okay,
right.
so he's an entertainer and is an entertainment and brand consultant, a content creator, a business person, a videographer, a broadcaster, and this one, he has to be the one to explain this one to me and to all of us. He's a Jesus apologist. Okay, first of all, let's start with that. Thank you. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so Jesus apologist. Tell me, what does that mean?
Okay, apologies generally is gotten from the Greek word apologio. Yeah, which means that to give a witness a defense for anything that you believe in. Okay, if you believe in fashion and you are such an enthusiast for it, and you can actually get to promote it very well and get to present it in the best presentable light, as opposed to other lights that are not effective or efficient. That makes you an apologist. So you have movie apologies, you have atheists are apologists. Yeah, because evolution is our apologists also, because they are trying to defend their worldviews whatever their belief systems are.
Okay, so because I know the first time when we had apologies, the first thing that came to mind, like, why are you apologizing for who Jesus is?
Okay, yes, it's the word has morphed over time, and it has its meaning has changed, but its original meaning has never been what we have as apology now. It has to mean to give a witness, take a stand, and tell them this is why I do this is why I believe in this. LGBTQ apologies for LGBTQ and for their alternate lifestyle.
What's the favorite thing about Jesus for you?
Love is awesome. Because to abandon everything that who he was, to morph and become like me, and not just like me, but to go lower than me, to die, become sin, to save me. It's crazy. It has to be love. It has to be stupid, crazy, senseless love.
That's the word. Wow. Okay, so you're a multi-talented person, but of all the things that we've mentioned, which one is your favorite, and which one comes to you naturally?
Okay, I'll take the Jesus apologies.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes to me naturally.
Okay.
Because you find that it ties to today.
Okay.
Because you look at life, there's a big question in the heart of people. I rather big questions in the hearts of people. And 4 of those fundamental questions are origin, meaning, morality, destiny.
Origin, meaning, morality, destiny. Okay.
It comes with, or destination rather, it comes to everybody. Where did I come from? Origin. Meaning, what's the meaning of life?
Why am I here?
Yeah, why am I here?
Yeah.
Morality, evil. Why is
what's
evil?
Good, what's bad?
What's good, what's bad? And how do we know what's good, what's bad? Why do we do good? Why is evil? And then destination. Where do I go from here? Now, these are the top biggest questions in the heart of people. Some people may try to circumnavigate it, but they are there. So these are the things that you look at. And it's difficult. It's only in the person of Jesus that these 4 questions are answered effectively and efficiently. No other worldview. No other worldview. You don't know where you came from. Something happened. There was an accidental discharge called a Big Bang that over billions of years given to time, chance, and natural selection, we evolved and we got here. Then after here, what happens? When we get to thermal equilibrium and the world and the universe eventually dies out, where do we go? What happens?
You just kind of like entered into the topic already. So let's just delve in. Entropy. What is entropy? I know a lot of my listeners have never heard of this word. I didn't even hear of this word until sometime last year, and it struck me, and I was kind of very interested in it, because the idea of disorderliness of the world is natural to the universe, and that's basically what entropy is, when this is a state of disorderliness and a state of chaos. So that means, because I read a book called The Geek Testament by Mr. Kolawale Olatubosun, and he defined entropy in his words. He said entropy is a measure of disorderliness disorderliness of a system, the lack of order or predictability, and a gradual decline into disorder. So in the beginning, you can say, in the creation of the world, there was entropy, because the world was without form and void. So there was that chaos before chaos came, when creation happened.
Okay. Entropy, like you rightly stated, is chaos. But entropy is not really chaos. Because you find that what you see chaos is at the macro state. State, that's at the very visible state. When you look at the micro state, entropy is just a fancy term or fancy word for internal arrangement. The very different ways in which you can arrange the micro state, the molecule, the atoms and stuff. So that's what it means. So in moving them from one position to another and trying to rearrange them, that's what is called disorder. But actually, it is trying to find positions and output that is most favorable and preferable for it, so that a macro state can be achieved. Now, if you're going to look at entropy from the scientific term should be from the Big Bang. And at the Big Bang, there was low entropy because at that point, the energy was clustered together. Then as time began to progress, high entropy came in, energy began to move out. At low entropy, life could not really be possible. It was at high entropy, so you had energy, heat was given up, and life forms could really come. Now, if you're going to go, that is looking at it from the scientific point of view, but if you're looking at it from the theistic point of view, in which there's an intelligent design with an intelligent designer, like you said in the beginning, now that's Genesis 1, 2, there was entropy. But if you backtrack to Genesis 1, say in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Yes.
So you find that before the beginning, there was nothing but God. So there was nothing that ever existed aside from God. So it was out of his godness that he took the substance to create the heavens and the earth. So if he is an intelligent designer, he's a God of order, and he now created, is he going to create chaos and disorder? Absolutely no. And for people who have had out-of-body experiences, of those who have had near-death experiences, or those who have gone to heaven and back, they'll tell you that heaven is a place of order and structure, peace, love, everything is okay. There's no entropy. And those who have been to the other side, hell and all of that, will tell you it's absolute chaos with excessive entropy.
Excessive entropy. Wow. I think this thing, can we say, let me just delve deep into a little different. Can we say like Nigeria is occupied with entropy? Because we struggle with structure. We struggle with things being in order. Like we've gotten so accustomed to disorder, like we think is normal. And which is not, and which is actually very dangerous for us as a people and for our growth as a nation. Like we are so sink into entropy that we don't even know that we are sinking into entropy.
Okay, now you find that, like we stated, entropy has a micro state and a macro state.
Okay.
So at the micro state level, which in quantum physics is like the subatomic level.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking at the subatomic level, what's going on at the subatomic level? What's going on at the subatomic or micro state in Nigeria?
Yeah.
There's systemic chaos. And systemic chaos can be limited to what you call a system.
Yeah.
And the second law of thermodynamics is that if you have an isolated system, because the first law of thermodynamics said that in an isolated system, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So that energy that cannot be created nor destroyed in that isolated system will continue in its natural order, which is chaos, looking at its micro state, trying to find how you can rearrange the energy levels that is at that micro state.
Yeah.
Now, if you take a nation can be broken down into 5 key pillars: the home, education, finances, politics or leadership or religious platform. Yeah. And every of all of these boils down to the home. So the home becomes the micro state. At the micro state, what are you learning, or what are you teaching people there? Is there order in the micro state? Is there order in the home? Is there discipline
in the home?
Yes, because everybody you see on the street came from a home. Some of them have good homes, some of them have bad homes. Some of them have well-knitted homes, some of them have broken homes. But they came from somewhere. Yeah. So if the home doesn't take care of them, they push them to the street. And the street is for nobody. And that is where you have absolute chaos, and people begin to do anything. That's the learn street, the behave street, they do whatever they do. So you find that the home is broken, and the educational system is broken, the financial system is broken, the leadership structure, or the political structure is broken, the religious structure is broken. If the key pillars that hold up a system or a society is broken, and then you have a leader from that broken system, what do you expect?
What do you expect? Can you say that? Which one comes like, is like the chicken or the egg? Because the home can be influenced by every other thing you just mentioned. The home can be influenced by politics. The home can be influenced by religion. The home can be influenced by the society. So how you run a home has a lot of inputs. Unless you're saying one has to stand from and say, you know what, this is how I want to run my home to create a better structure. Because there are people that the reason why they cannot raise their kids properly because of what society expects, or because of what the religion that they are worshiping expects. So like the home is influenced by this other aspects of a nation.
Okay, like I said, in a micro state, the home is a micro state.
Yeah.
There's leadership there.
Okay.
Political leadership or leadership there.
Leadership,
and there's a structure. The husband, the wife, and the kids.
The kids.
So there is religion there, because man knows within himself that he came from somewhere,
Okay.
and then he's here for a reason, morality and all of that, and he's going to go somewhere. And you try to instill that in your home.
Yeah.
There is education there because you teach your children, or you teach the home, or you have order, what you want them to do, the kind of information that you want to pass across. And then also there's religion. Okay, talk to religion, then there's finances. You make money, and okay, this is how money is going to be shared and said. So the home is that micro nation.
Okay, that incubator starts everything.
Yes, that's the incubation center.
Yeah.
And then it projects it into the larger economy, the larger world, which is the macro world.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So I'm gonna be stating some things, and we can either agree on this or disagree on it. So the first sentence is: success is not actively cultivated and tended. No, success that is not actively cultivated and tended will eventually fall apart, as entropy is a constant thing in the universe. Do you agree or disagree?
It was the legendary Chinua Achebe who wrote that in his book, Things Fall Apart.
Yeah.
And the completion of that is things fall apart when the center cannot hold. There has to be a center that holds.
Okay.
So if you do not cultivate success effectively and keep cultivating and harnessing it, we live in a dystopian system, which is also an entropic system, which is pulling at the same. It will naturally fall back. They say nature abhors vacuum. Yeah. If you leave a building to itself over a period of time, entropy sets in, starts falling apart. Yeah. So it needs something that will coordinate, bind it, and keep it in order. So yes, you have to keep coordinating your success. The richest man in the world today is who?
I think Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk.
Musk.
Okay.
So Musk overtook Bezos.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, because of what Musk was doing and his Tesla, the stocks of Tesla rose.
Oh yeah.
And then it overtook because he's busy working. He didn't just say that I was a billionaire. I'm a billionaire rather, and I'm somewhere. I'm okay. No, he kept pushing. Why? Because he has a vision. Yeah. Now, if you don't have a vision of where you're going, what you want to do, what you hope to achieve within a specific time range, you can become lackadaisical. And once you become lackadaisical, anything goes. So you start falling. Nigeria wasn't like this. In the 60s, there was order. Yeah. There was vision. We wanted to go somewhere. People were coming in. Now, as they were coming in, they were generating more entropy. And we had a way of diffusing that. And it became a plus to us. Our economy grew, and also our name grew, and we were able to
was intact.
We were able to export our knowledge and information out to India and also Asia, and even Africa. But over time, visionary leadership was lost, and eventually we got to where we are now.
That's crazy. You said something very key. If a building is left on its own and if it's not tended to and managed, entropy would, this regular state of the universe, which is disorderliness, will come in. So it now brings, I'm going to go a little deep. It means that God that created the world, in the beginning there was entropy, and God created order. For that order to be sustained and managed, that's why he put man in place. So it's only man that has the capability and the capacity to keep order so that entropy does not overtake and overshadow. So, but at what point did we lose control? Because it seems like sometimes if man was put things in order, why is there still so much chaos and then there's still existence of man?
Okay, from the theistic point of view, that's the worldview of Christians. Now you find that Genesis 1:1. God created everything. There was no chaos and disorder. He just made everything as it is. Genesis 1:2, there was chaos. In Genesis 1:3 down, he now restored order. He made man. And he gave man, being the crown jewel of all his creation, to have order, to rule, to have dominion, to subdue
the earth.
Yes, and to replenish and multiply and do all of that. Now he gave man. So man is the one who was supposed to regulate manage the world system.
Yeah.
Man was good,
Yeah.
God was good,
Yeah.
the environment was good.
Yeah.
But there was a clause. The day you do this, you disobey, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So man disobeyed. He took what he was not supposed to take.
Take.
And by doing that, he was tempted by an entity called Satan, or devil. And then there was a change in order. It was God, it was man, it was angels. Originally, it was God. Then when God made the heavens,
Yeah.
it was God and the angels. When God made the earth, it was God, angels, and the animals. When
Yeah.
man came, was God, man, the angels, and animals.
Animals.
Now, among the angels, there was a rebel, Satan, Lucifer,
Yeah,
who
Lucifer.
rebelled and was kicked out. So they made it the bottom line. So it was God, man, angels, animals, and the devil.
Yeah.
So when he came to tempt man, and man agreed and obliged him, there was a swap.
Of authority.
Yes.
Oh.
So it was now God, it was now the devil, it was angels, it was
The
animals,
animals.
and man was at the bottom.
So that's why the man can be afraid of animals or some animals. Oh, wow.
Because the authority
has been
that
ripped
man
away.
had been taken away
Was
from him.
taken away.
So man gave the authority to the enemy, and
Yeah.
then the enemy being bad,
Yeah.
naturally, he has chaos and disorder. He's an entropic being. Since he got disconnected from the source of light, from God,
Yeah.
so he became an entropic being. So wherever he goes, he has
Yes,
chaos.
chaos.
Haven't you watched cartoons or
Yeah.
movies
Yeah.
when evil is coming and then the grass and trees and everything
It
just goes black, just dies out,
yeah, it
even
come
before
grey.
it comes?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly entropy. Because being a creature of entropy, it naturally cannot give what he has, what he does not have.
What does
So
not
it's
have.
giving naturally what he has,
What he has.
which is chaos, which is disorder.
So wow. So that means for you to succeed at anything, you have to be consistent at it. Because the moment you stop, entropy will just take in. Like someone say, if you leave your house, your grass uncut, eventually it's gonna grow out of control. It will grow to the point that it might come out into your windows, into your doors. So you have to. There has to be a conscious effort to attain success at all times.
Definitely.
All right. So
Definitely.
the second sentence: the easiest thing to do in the world is for things to go wrong, simply because it goes along the grain of the disorderliness of the universe.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's like asking if you let water flow, will it flow from top bottom, or will it flow from the bottom up?
Yeah.
Naturally, because of gravity.
Therefore, it to fall.
So it will fall that way. So that's how it is. So if you're going against the tide, you should be able to have equipped yourself with information.
Yeah.
Now, the third law of thermodynamics is that if you can achieve absolute zero, entropy becomes regularized. That means an absolute zero is an ideal, it's not achievable yet, cannot be achieved yet. But if you can achieve it, you can regularize entropy. Now we're here. It's AC in here. It's cold. So heat is lowered.
Yeah, it's
So
lowered.
why? Because it's taking the heat out of here
Yeah.
and pushing it somewhere else. So it's creating that environment that is conducive. To create order in a particular place, you need to create disorder some other place.
Other place.
Because if you're taking the disorder from here, you're putting
It's
it
going
somewhere.
somewhere else.
You have a trash can. If you clean your house, your room, you put it in the trash can.
Yeah.
So you're creating order here, but you're taking the disorderliness and you're putting it there.
Put it somewhere else.
Now, there's what is called the Maxwell demon. It's a thought experiment in physics, which means that if you have entropy and you want to reverse entropy, you need to introduce a finite being that has excessive intelligence, that knows all the possible forms,
Outcomes.
yes, of where all the molecules are at once, and it begins to open like you have two compartment A, B, then there is a door. So it will now take all the fast-moving elements or atoms and put them in one compartment, and all the slow elements, atoms rather, in one compartment. So the molecules of atoms that are high have been regulated in one particular compartment,
Yeah.
and those ones are in another compartment. So you have reverse entropy because you've taken what was high
here.
and heat and you put it somewhere else.
Somewhere
So, but you need to introduce that particular being. And it's very simple, because the book of Daniel stated that when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were introduced into the burning flame, fire, where there was entropy, there was a fourth man.
That brought order.
So that thought experience that they were thinking, because it took over 100 of years when Maxwell brought that thought experiment, and then people debated over it for them to eventually accept it. So that means that if you really want to achieve absolute true success, you need information, knowledge that is higher than the level that you are. The knowledge that created the chaos and the entropy cannot be sufficient to reverse the entropy. So
it has to go
higher.
That's deep. The easiest thing to happen to anyone is for things to go wrong. That's the easiest. When I was one of those people that be like, why are things going so bad? Until when I read this quote and I read this book, I realized, the easiest thing to happen is for things to go wrong. If things go wrong, it is natural for things to go wrong. It is actually unnatural for things to go right. Because like you said, you're going to be pushing against the tide. So that means if you are striving towards success, there's everything that is pushing you back. So if you do not stay and keep pushing and equip yourself with knowledge and strength and understanding, that tide is eventually going to overshadow you and you're going to fall. So you can't complain things are going bad, then you just sit back and fold your arms and waiting for magic to happen. No, the only magic that can happen is when you get up, acquire knowledge, and push back. That's the only way to get success. That's interesting. So the third sentence says, bringing order and improvement to a system is a continuous active process to ensure the gain is sustained.
Definitely. Yeah. Energy has to be sustained for you to continually have entropy. There's what is called thermal equilibrium, where it is believed that now the three laws of thermal dynamic, there's a fourth law, which is actually called the zeroth law, which was recently discovered, or they came to agreement upon it, is that if body A is in thermal harmony with body B, and then body B is in thermal harmony with body C, it automatically means that A, B, and C are in thermal equilibrium, or thermal balance, or thermal harmony.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Now, if you get a thermal equilibrium or a thermal balance, a heat balance, it means that the heat from this system, from the higher perspective to a lower perspective, transfer this heat, and then the heat from here and here have been balanced out. So that no longer transferring heat is an equilibrium, is a state of balance. Now, based on the heat that is being generated, a phenomenon called the arrow of time is created, which means that it flows in one direction. That is why you give birth to a child, the child begins to grow, the child grows, becomes matured. From getting mature, they enter the senior years, from the senior years, and eventually people age and they die. Follow the arrow of time. Now, for you to, because that's the natural order, for you to be able to go against that, you need a lot of information, and information that can enable you to fight the system, to stand against the system politically, economically, educationally, socially, and personally. Habits that you don't like. You need to get relevant information. All informations are not relevant. So you need to get the relevant information that is required for you to bring about the relevant specific change that you need. So you need to go against that. And that information now will come from you exerting energy, spending your time, buying books, watching right YouTube videos, or engaging with people. The best way to learn knowledge is by interaction. The worst thing that's happened to human beings, the worst punishment you can give human beings is isolation. When you isolate people, they die. When you isolate a thing, it dies. So you find that when people come together, they share knowledge, they grow. You learn faster than just watching a YouTube video because you can ask questions and you can get instant feedback. So you need to get the information, relevant information, to enable you rise against the systemic tide of entropy that pulls you down or tries to weigh you down. You need to get that, or else you'll be stuck.
That's interesting. God wasn't stupid when he said it is not good for man to be alone.
Absolutely.
And so it's that statement or that sentence is deep in so many ways.
So
because you can't, like you said, you can't learn in isolation. That's why we have classrooms, because what I have is like, we are all interconnected as human beings. Because I don't possess everything, neither do you. But together, we can create something new that does not exist, that I couldn't possibly create on my own. Tower of Babel was only possible because people decided to come together. One man could not create Tower of Babel in isolation, so that's why we came. So there's power in unity. There's power in network. There's power in togetherness. So with the thing that's been happening lately, where isolation, COVID-19, stay away, it is the quickest way to eliminate mankind by telling them be isolated. So putting this, I'll call it putting this fear of, if I go close to you, I will die. That's if I can convince you that my life is for me to sustain life would depend on me staying away from you. That's the easiest way for me to kill you, because I'm telling you, stay away from people.
Okay.
Don't. Yeah.
You know what's happening? Because at the micro state in your brain, in your mind, you're already programming death.
Yeah.
If I go near you.
Yeah.
So once I go near you, the neurotransmitters from my brain begin to transmit neurons into my body that begin to program me to respond to what has been programmed, which is death. If I'm wearing mask, I can still interact with people. Yeah. I will not be isolated. Yeah. So if there's mask, and mask helps and works, so why should I be isolated? If I sanitize my hands, why should I be isolated? I'm sanitized, I'm masked up. Yeah. I can still engage. Talk. You. Because that harmony, that interaction is not broken. Yeah. But by the time you break people, you incarcerate people. People who are incarcerated, when they come out, they don't get better. Yeah. They're broken. Especially if you're in solitary confinement or isolation. Yeah. You get broken. Two things happen to people in solitary isolation. They either go crazy or they find God. Wow. Yes, any kind of God. But they either go crazy or they find God. Yeah. Because they need something there that can keep them company, that can give them good company. So they either start talking to themselves until they go local or they discover a higher being. Yeah. So that's what happened. So if I'm all masked up and I'm sanitized, I can still interact. I should still interact. Yeah. So that the knowledge and the life that comes, the energy that comes from us keeps going on. The energy and the frequency that comes from the heart extends up to 6 to 10 feet, as it has been measured. Oh, wow. Yes. So the heart energy, the pulse that comes from the heart, extends up to 6 to 8 feet wide. So you see, when I get to you, I'm not just meeting you as a person. Yeah. I'm meeting the energy, the aura that comes around you.
So that explains when you're in the room by yourself and somebody walks in, you feel it.
Definitely.
There's like, it feels like, so when you're walking and someone is looking at you, like I can feel someone looking at me.
I think the hair on your nape
stands up because that energy is coming. That's interesting. Wow. So we're going to go on a quick break, and when we'll come back, we'll just kind of like round off this conversation on entropy. So we'll be right back. Stick around. Do not always go with your urges, and especially those of us that operate on social media, the urge to clap back, the urge to slap back, like the urge to just, I give it to you, you give it to me. It doesn't promote anything positive. So gain control over your urges, because if you don't, it becomes load over you. All right, welcome back to Real Talk with AJ. I am your host, Eno Jerry, and today we are talking about entropy, the disorderliness of a system. Entropy is real. Disorder is real, is natural. And it takes, on our own, I can say that we can't overpower entropy by ourselves, because a lot of us believe in, I have the ability, I have the capacity, I am strong, I am intelligent, I can fight this. But I've come to realize that that intelligence that you have is in the same level with the level of entropy that exists. That the only way for you to go beyond is the entity of God. You can't acquire that extra thing on your own by yourself without having an entity that is higher than you pull you up. Because if you're here and entropy is here, you're going to be at logheads, and you will continue to be at the same stage doing the same thing over and over again without any kind of result. So you feel like I'm always fighting against the world. The world is against me. Village people are after me. Oh my God, my great grandmother sold my destiny. Like, no, you are in constant loggerheads with entropy. So for you to move ahead, you need to have an entity bigger and higher than you to pull you out of it. So to give you that extra knowledge to be able to fight whatever is down here. What would you like to say to people?
Okay, there's the Hegelian dialect from the, I think, German philosopher called Hegel.
Yeah.
And not exactly in his words, I think it was the Fichtean philosopher who coined it to mean that there is thesis, antithesis, and then synthesis.
Okay, explain.
There's problem, there's reaction, and there's
Solutions. Okay.
There's systemic and generic entropy. There's personal entropy. Everybody has a personal entropy.
Internal chaos.
Yes, internal chaos. And then also a systemic surrounding chaos that is unique to them, to their homes, to their families, and individually unique to them.
Wow.
So whereas you live in, like when Nigeria here, there's economical and political entropy going on.
Yeah.
Me as an individual, I have my own personal entropy, like my own personal demons.
Yeah.
Now, that entropy is a problem. That is the thesis. Everybody has a reaction that they can react to it. That is the antithesis.
Yeah.
Now, if you react, it's a reaction. If you don't react, it's a reaction. If you react positively, it's a reaction. If you react negatively, it is a reaction. Then the right amount of reaction that is required will bring about a synthesis, the solution that is needed. Now, we are all pulled down by entropy called gravity. Now, to break free from gravity, you need to introduce the lift dimension, the ability to rise.
Yeah.
That's where the planes came in, the aerodynamics that you can sustain. But aside from that, there's even a higher one, which is the escape velocity that rockets use. They don't just lift, but they leave the system entirely. That's the kind of knowledge that you need. Now, you talked about a supreme being giving information and giving knowledge. The supreme being is very merciful and kind because it causes his rain to fall on the good and the bad, and the sun to fall on the good and the bad. So you don't have to, in quote, belong to a particular belief system or a worldview, believe in this particular, my God, your God, and all of that. But the Creator generously gives to everybody. That's why you can come to that aha moment. Like Archimedes came to and said, Eureka, I found it. So everybody comes to that moment like, Eureka, I found it. So the Supreme Being gives to everybody. So when you come to that Eureka moment, you can now use what you found out to enable you to break free from entropy or your escape velocity, where you can get to a point where you are above entropy until you meet the next level of entropy.
Wow. Mr. Sixtus, I can say this 1,000 times. I'm blessed
So am I.
having you here. Guys, he's going to come back. People will be seeing a lot of him because he has so much knowledge, so much to give, so much to offer. Today was just about entropy and thermodynamics. We're going to go delve deep into other topics, and I would love to have him come back and talk to us more about these other topics. Mr. Sixtus, thank you so much. Thank you for taking out the time. I've learned, you can understand, I'm gonna go back and watch this and just take notes.
Oh, you're making me blush.
You should. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is Real Talk with EJ. I am your host, Eno Jerry, and I will see you next time. Have a lovely day.